they're both is it both it both of them say contract related. Both of the topics say
Check one, check two. Good evening and welcome to everyone. We already opened the meeting earlier before our closed session, so we're going to pick up on the agenda with the Pledge of Allegiance. So please everyone rise and join me. Pleased to recognize 28 outstanding Parkway teachers who've been selected by their peers as their school's Teacher of the Year. Their dedication to students, community spirit, and personal commitment to excellence has earned them this honor. A special thank you to Parkway Alumni Association for hosting a reception prior to tonight's meeting for the teachers and their families. The Alumni Association provides monetary awards and crystal apples for the elementary, middle, and high school Teacher of the Year recipients, which they'll receive at the appreciation evening. Please welcome John Kilper, President of Parkway Alumni Association.
Thank you very much, members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. The Parkway School District has successfully educated and shaped the lives of students and their families for more than 50 years, and the teachers being recognized tonight are essential to that success. I'm sure that if asked, all of us can name at least one teacher who played a key role in shaping our lives growing up. I have great respect for all the Parkway teachers who helped me, who helped shape my life and make me into the person I am today. And although I still have a few years before I officially become a Parkway parent, my son is 1.5, so I'm almost there. I am grateful for the work that these teachers do to educate our children, our students. The PAA is proud to be a part of this celebration and extends sincere congratulations to all the honorees from both the current alumni and the future alumni of Parkway. So thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Desi Kirchhofer, Deputy Superintendent, to come forward and introduce our teachers.
All right. Thank you, President Feldman and board members and Dr. Marty. It is an honor to be up in front of you this evening to introduce the best of the best, as Parkway has some of the best teachers in the country, and to be an honor for them to be rated by their peers as the Teacher of the Year in their buildings. They are outstanding and dedicated educators who have the most impact on our mission. So it is a great honor to be in front of you this evening. Also joining me this evening will be Dr. Watson and Dr. Meredith as we introduce our Teachers of the Year. I will start with our high school Teachers of the Year. From Central High, German teacher Amy McMahon. Amy. From Fern Ridge High School, ELA teacher Maureen Lombardi. Maureen. Our next Teacher of the Year is not only the Teacher of the Year at North High, but also is the Teacher of the Year for our high schools and also our District Teacher of the Year for Parkway. From North High, please welcome ELA teacher Megan McCorkle. Megan. Looks like we're on a roll with ELA teachers. Our next teacher from South High, Lisa Giljam-Jansky, is for English Language Arts as well. Lisa. And I believe our West High Teacher of the Year was unable to attend tonight, but I still want to read his name and have him recognized. From Industrial Technology, West High, Cliff Amon. For Cliff.
Good evening, and I have the honor to recognize our middle school teachers of the year. First, our Central Middle Teacher of the Year is Diane Coffey, and she is not here with us this evening because she is presenting at the National Science Teachers Association Conference, but her principal, Dr. Bogus, is going to accept on her behalf.
I don't get to do this.
And you have to give that to her.
I will.
Okay. Our next principal is Ben Duker, Social Studies from Northeast Middle School. Ben?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. And as he is being congratulated, I want to recognize that he is the Middle School Teacher of the Year. So, Ben. Next, from South Middle, the librarian, Jody Sanders. Jody? Our next teacher teaches drama at Southwest Middle School, Angela Hetz. And we have another drama teacher from West Middle, Kareem Deans. Kareem.
Good evening. I have the privilege to recognize the Elementary Teachers of the Year. We will begin with the Teacher of the Year from Barrett's Elementary. It is Kate Jones, and she teaches third grade. Kate was unable to be with us this evening. Next, I would like to recognize a first grade teacher from Belle Reve Elementary. Sarah Lane is their Teacher of the Year. Sarah? Now I would like to recognize the Teacher of the Year from Carmen Trails, a fifth grade teacher, Beth Honeycutt. Beth? I would now like to recognize a special educator who is the Teacher of the Year for Claymont Elementary, Michelle Shockley. Michelle? The Teacher of the Year from Craig Elementary is third grade teacher, Sarah Maxfield. Sarah? There must be something with the name Sarah. Our next Teacher of the Year is Sarah Musto, second grade teacher from Green Trails. Sarah. The Hannah Woods Teacher of the Year was unable to be with us this evening, but we would still like to recognize Jessica Sumner, third grade teacher. I would now like to introduce Stacy Cloman, Mosaics teacher from Henry Elementary. Stacy is the Teacher of the Year from Henry. Nicole Crowell, would you please come forward? Nicole is a kindergarten teacher at Highcroft Elementary. She is their Teacher of the Year, and I would also like to introduce Nicole as the Elementary Teacher of the Year. Katie Niehaus was selected as the Katie Niehaus was selected as the Teacher of the Year from Mason Ridge, and Katie teaches kindergarten. Katie. Susan Fry is a third grade teacher at McKelvey, and she was selected as Teacher of the Year. Susan? Now, I would like to introduce the Oak Brook Teacher of the Year. She is a special educator. Leslie Frasca, would you please come forward? Katie Boyer, first grade teacher, was selected as the Teacher of the Year from Piermont. Katie. Katie DeMunbrun, would you please come forward? Katie was selected as the Teacher of the Year from River Bend, and she serves as a counselor. Ross selected a fourth grade teacher as their Teacher of the Year, Sherry Neifert. Shenandoah Valley selected their instructional coach as Teacher of the Year, and that is Francesca Kotkamp. Francesca. Denise Currington, fifth grade teacher, was selected as Teacher of the Year from Sorrento Springs. Denise. And our final elementary Teacher of the Year is Alex Sprague from Wren Hollow, and Alex teaches kindergarten. Alex.
Congratulations once again to all of our teachers. I would also like to extend our thanks to the members of the Teacher of the Year Selection Committee, chaired by Stephanie Reinhardt from Southwest Middle. Although I know they enjoy reading the nominations, it's not an easy task to narrow it down to the elementary, middle, and high school Teachers of the Year. Thank you to our teachers and their families, colleagues, and administrators for joining us on this special occasion. We're honored to have you all with us. At this time, we're going to take a brief break. We will resume our board meeting in just a few minutes. Thank you. We're going to resume the meeting now at 6.0, additions, corrections, and modifications to the agenda. 6.01, addition of agenda item 11.30, approval of the ratification of the CWA agreement. 6.02, addition to agenda item 11.02, approval of personnel items. 6.03, agenda item 11.10, approval of lease agreement to 12790 Fifi Road location has been pulled from tonight's agenda. 7.0, citizen statements. We have 4 tonight. I'm going to invite you up. Please say your name, your address, and for the record. And I'm going to ask you that you limit each statement to 3 minutes, and you will receive replies from the board in writing. So first, I'm going to call on John Shilligo.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the school district. My name's John Shilligo. I live at 30 Glen Cove Drive, Chesterfield, Missouri, 63017. And I am one of your constituents. My wife and I regularly go to the polls. We have always voted for every bond issue that this school district has needed. We've come out every time there was an issue in this school district to support you. I think it's wonderful that you this evening wanted to express your accolades about the best of your best. I applaud your efforts. I want to tell you a little more about some other best of the best. I'm a member of the Carpenters District Council of Greater St. Louis. I come here to tell you that as a member of the Carpenters, I'm allowed to go out and work and earn a living wage with health benefits and a pension for my years of toil. I'd like you to give consideration to any and all contracts that you would award for remodeling or renovation or new work in this district. And I'd like you to take a hard look at the contractors that you utilize for that work. Carpenters District Council is a proponent of education. All of our members are highly skilled, highly trained. They are the safest construction workers in the industry. And I noticed that you went out of your way to acknowledge the best of your best. So I have to believe that if you want work done in your facilities, that you want the best people out there in the industry working on your facilities. So please, give that some consideration. And remember, I'm one of your constituents. I live right here in this area, and I vote. My wife votes regularly. Thank you.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, you may not know this, but we don't do applause for citizen statements. So next I'd like to call Keith Taylor.
You bet, absolutely. My name is Keith Taylor. I live at 601 Brookmont Lake Court, Chesterfield, Missouri, 63017. I have lived there for since 2003. Worked in the area, this area right here, for over 41 years. Actually 43 years. I started working out in the field when I was 16 as a laborer. Drove from Columbia, Illinois, and I drove right over here down to Claymont Bath and Tennis right across the street at Park Huntington Estates. I worked for a contractor called Maselli Homes, a prominent home builder in the area. While I worked for him, I worked on 700 houses myself while I was out in the field. And he probably built another 4,900. And out of that 4,900 that are around, I guess if you average that out, I'm just trying to throw some numbers out there. If that averaged out to about $4,500 in taxes a year, there's some $22 million that the company I work for helped generate, and out of that you get a portion. That's just one company. At the time when I first started over here, there was probably over 12 different home builders, all that paid area standard wages that were part of the Carpenters District Council, and they were all building homes just about the same size, spreading the countryside with homes to better help you support this wonderful school system that you have. And I'm going around the long way, so I don't have much time left. We do help out the industry around here. We try to keep our standards high. I dropped you off, and I don't know if any of you received an email earlier today. It came out, might have went in your junk mail. I also dropped off a packet right there, and it's concerns about a certain contractor that I believe that might be awarded 2 jobs over some odd $2 million on that particular contract. And I'll bring out his name. His name is Ranieri Construction. Okay. He's been found on area jobs in the past, not playing at the same ball field, not playing the same way, not playing fairly. We have raised the bar, like your school here, to get the best for the best. But our contractors pay a certain wage, and it's a prevailed wage on all their jobs, be it a school job or down the street on a grocery store. It's a commercial job. And on our residential, it's a different scale. You're going to look through your packet. You're going to find some information. There was some pain abatement problems down in the city that should be a concern to yours. And there's also in that packet section of what they call time shaving. And time shaving locally, statewide, and federal law-wide is against the law. There's already been 5 class action lawsuits against them that have went over some close to $150,000. And as of right now, there's another 18 that are pending. And that's non-payment of overtime. Some of the jobs, particularly, were on prevail wage jobs, but it's against the law. Our contractors don't follow that operation, that mode of operation, and I hope you would want to pick somebody that doesn't perform like that. You're also going to find there's a packet in there. In that packet, okay, there's a questionnaire from the Madison Housing Authority that was sent to St. Louis Public Schools. And it was filled out after they had asked for referrals and didn't get the referrals back. They sent the questionnaire, okay? So I'm just asking you if you can support the contractors of the areas that do pay area standards, which are part of the Carpenters District Council.
I don't mean to be rude, but we're going to give everybody the same amount of time, so 3 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Sal Tedesco.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to come up here. My name is Salvatore Tedesco. I live at 125 Dietrich Road, Manchester, Missouri, 63021. I'm living on the property that my father bought in 1951 in St. Louis County. I attended Parkway Central High School, which was the only high school, class of 64. And my sister, all 5 of us kids went there. And even my children has attended Parkway School District. So at that, we've been paying taxes a long time, but it has gone to very good uses. And I'd like to commend you and the previous boards for watching over them funds to educate the children better. And as I said, we've been paying tax a long time. I have even worked on Parkway schools for contractors over the years. And it felt good that I was able to come back into the Parkway School District and try to help make it better by the skills that I was taught, and to make it better for the children and for our community. And with that, the contractors that I worked for did pay the correct wage for our area. And with that, I was able to support my family and put them and support them to a better lifestyle. And in doing the prevailing wage, people will be able to support their families and live a better lifestyle and better their community. And with that, if you don't pay the prevailing wage, there's less money being made by the employee, less taxes being paid, less whatever down the road. And in that will cut into our community and not benefit them as it should if the prevailing wage law or prevailing wage was paid. And so with that, we moved in 51, and I was a classmate from 60 to 64 as my sisters and brothers. and I moved back into Parkway School District in 2000, and I'm very proud to be an alumni of Parkway School District and a member of the Parkway community. Thank you very much for your time.
Our last citizen statement is from Angelo Lancia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Angelo Lancia. I live in 1836 Garden Way in Woods Mill subdivision. Been there since 1976. Raised 7 kids in this area. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of Parkway School District because that's the reason why we moved there when we did. So, having said that, I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to address you tonight. I want to ask the board to table any discussions concerning awarding any work tonight to any construction company, and I mean any. As you represent an institution that promotes education and learning, I would ask that you immediately adopt a new policy that includes awarding work to firms that employs registered apprentices and promote bona fide apprenticeships training programs, just like the ones who are asked to come here and speak to the students, as we always do. We go to all the schools in Parkway whenever we ask to and speak to the students. Students in the past have benefited from these programs, and the present are benefiting from these programs, and I'm sure they will benefit from these programs in the future. But if you're going to give work to contractors that do not live by these rules and they do not have educated people, well, then you're defeating the purpose. I appreciate what you guys done, so please take a look at what you're doing and help us. Thank you.
Um, 8.0 approval of agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of Education scheduled for Wednesday, March 11th, 2015?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. There are no resolutions tonight. 10.0 communications. I'd like to call in Deputy Superintendent Desi Kirchhofer. Come on down and introduce one of our new administrators.
Good, thank you. It's a pleasure to be up here again this evening. Amy Branson, could you please join me? You can applaud. I heard a little yay in the back. That's good. So I wanted to introduce Amy this evening, just a little bit about her background. As far as education, she received her bachelor's in elementary education at Southwest Missouri State, and her master's in education administration, and her education specialist from Missouri Baptist University. But Amy's also, she started her career as a special educator, and I won't say the year.
Okay, you can if you want
to. So, but she started her career, and then she was also an English teacher and a high school English teacher, and that's really where I got to know Amy and really got to know her well. Worked 3 years with her at Fern Ridge High School, where she was an extraordinary classroom teacher. And last since 2008, if I could do the math quick enough, I would have figured it out. But she was working as the assistant principal at Southwest Middle. So that's just a little bit about her background. So when we started the search for a new principal at South Middle School, we were looking for someone, according to the staff, who was approachable, consistent, family-centered, held high standards, flexible, student-centered, listen, reflective, trustworthy, conveys mission, responsible, caring, organized, and the list goes on and on and on. So we found Amy, and she will fill that role exceptionally. We are very excited to have her join the middle school principal team, and she will do an outstanding job as the new principal officially at South Middle. Congratulations, Amy. Welcome. And I'm going to give her an opportunity to just say a few words to the board. She's also, we've heard of the theme tonight, Parkway graduate. Amy Branson is also a Parkway graduate, so welcome, Amy.
Thanks. President Feldman, Dr. Marty, and board members, in the words of Dorothy, there's no place like home. And South Junior High School at the time, and I will date myself, in 1978 is the first day, or the first school year that I walked into South, under the principalship at the time of Tracy Brown, and when I left, Don Senti. So there is a long tradition of outstanding administrators at South, and Craig Fenner, and replacing him, as I've had conversations with staff members and others in the district, those are big shoes to fill. So I am thrilled, I'm honored, and I'm up for the challenge, and I am excited to accept the position. So thank you.
So as Amy said, it's always hard to see some of our great veterans go, but it is exciting with new leadership and moving things forward. And speaking of moving things forward into other new leadership position, I'd like Amy Joyce to join us to welcome another new administrator.
Thank you, Desi. It gives me great pleasure this evening to introduce Mr. Phil Roguski. Phil, if you would please join me at the podium. Phil is being recommended for the Director of Human Resources position this evening. Phil's career started in the Hazelwood School District as a middle school and high school social studies teacher. He has also served as a middle and high school assistant principal. And then he moved out to the Wentzville School District, where he had an opportunity to open a brand new middle school and a brand new high school. We are excited about Phil's new role in the Human Resources Department. I'm excited that the board gave me this opportunity to bring such a talent individual on board to move our mission forward to impact kids and the Parkway School District. I'd like to officially welcome Phil to Parkway.
Thank you. Well, thank you, and President Feldman, Dr. Marty, it's a pleasure. Takes me back, you know, she runs me through the history. I did not graduate from Parkway, but, sorry about that. Not everybody can, right? But have a lot of friends here, a lot of professional colleagues that I've come through the ranks with, and it's great to be kind of reunited with them, especially to be able to work under someone as talented as Amy Joyce, who's been in the position, knows what she's doing, speaks highly of the district and of you as a board, and Dr. Marty is a superintendent, so I'm honored. I've had the privilege of being in two very, very big, growing powerhouse districts, but none quite match Parkway. One has to just look at the pamphlet that you have out, you know, the number of master level teachers that you employ, the number of students that graduate from high school, the dropout rate being minuscule, those that are national merit scholars. It's just, the list goes on and on. So I'm quite honored to be part of the Parkway team. I got a lot of work to do yet this spring to close up my responsibilities at Liberty High School in Wentzville, but very, very proud of this position, and thank you for the opportunity to serve the students and the teachers here at Parkway. Thank you.
We are excited. This is a really good example of promotion from within in the case of Amy, and bringing in some new blood in the case of Phil. So we're very excited for both of you, and we can't wait till July 1st to start your careers in your new positions. Thank you both very much. Now we're going to move on to my favorite topic, calendar of meetings. The next regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 1st, 2015 at 7 p.m. at Central Middle School, with an anticipated closed session at 6 o'clock p.m. 10.02 election update. At the end of filing, 3 people have filed for 2 open positions on the Board of Education. They are, in order of filing, Beth Feldman, Sudhir Rathod, and Kim Applebaum. Filing closed on Tuesday, January 20th at 5:00 p.m. at the Administration Building. The election will be held on April 7th, 2015. A board candidate forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters will be held at 7 p.m. on March 26th, right here in this room at Central Middle School. Kim and I are the candidates. We will now stand up. I don't believe Mr. Rathod is here tonight. Board liaison reports. Does anybody want to get started?
I have something. I attended the Governing Council meeting last week, and they elected some new board members. We now have Mr. Douglas Riggs for Subdistrict 5, which is Brentwood, Kirkwood, Lindbergh, Maplewood, Valley Park, and Webster Groves. And then for Subdistrict 6, Ms. Janice Goodman was re-elected, and she is for Clayton, Normandy, Rittner, and University City.
Thank you very much.
Reeve Leadership Day, which was really great. The kids took people around. They were like the tour directors for the school. There was an amazing turnout. Lots of people and parents showed up for the day. And I also attended Spark Academy Day, where I actually got another attorney to show up and help counsel some of the kids. And the feedback was, one of the students said it was the most fun they ever had talking to a lawyer. So
They've had a lot of experience with lawyers.
that raises that obvious question. So.
I had the opportunity to attend a couple of activities that are happening in our schools. For example, the science fair that had over 500 exhibits, 80 digital ones, and some of our students, our high school students, were actually grading those. You could become a judge, and Bill Bass and others there had put an application together so that you could do that through your phone, and then the results were coming back very quickly. Some of the examples there of projects that the people had, one was a day in the life of my heart. That one really struck home. I only had one cookie tonight. Poptions, there were a couple of those. There was another one, sodas and Mentos, and what can happen when they get together. They explode. And anyway, it was a great experience to see how our kids participate in that. Most of them elementary, but they enjoyed that and had done a good job on that. Also, we had 2 sessions of our 4th grade strings, and that was amazing. I don't know if you know this, but on any given day, there's about 4,000 kids that participate in strings here in our school district, all the way from the ones in elementary up through high school. So that's quite a noteworthy thing in our community and in our school. And I think it makes a difference. I told them there's something about music that wires the brain for learning. So we're really proud to do that, and it was amazing that these kids hadn't practiced together. They'd done it at their school, and then they come together, several hundred of them, and really played very, very well together. And last night, some of us attended the Spirit of Excellence. This is a wonderful opportunity where we try to give back to some of these students, minority students, and encourage them to do their very best and try to recognize the excellence that they're achieving in school, and we want them to continue that. I think one of the highlights for me was really when they went to some of the graduates of Parkway who have achieved things in this life, and there were 4 gentlemen that they brought up front, and it was, what a great role model for these kids to see, very successful in the various endeavors that they had, and I think it was really the icing on the cake for them to see that I can achieve, I can break some of the chains that maybe tend to hold down some of these minorities, and these were people that didn't accept that, and so it was a great occasion to be part of that and to see hundreds of kids to walk across the stage and be recognized for it, and then to see further down the road I can do the same.
Thank you.
About a week or so ago, we had the opportunity to visit with Lisa Meredith and Susan and Becky and Courtney and Toby about the content literacy program. Basically, the opportunity for students to improve their skills in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. This program has been going on a while at the elementary level, and now it's starting to take shape in terms of applying those same skills and strategies to other disciplines such as social studies, math, and science. This is also starting to embark on what is happening in the middle school as well, that these skills are now being transferred to core subjects in the middle school. So plans are being made to do that over a period of time and training our teachers to utilize those skills in all disciplines. Basically, the middle school has adopted the Discovery Education program that will enhance that opportunity to do so in the middle schools. And what's really exciting is to have the similar kind of program be adopted at the high school level. There seems to be a lot of interest that we heard Becky talk about. There is a cross-district design team at this point in time that is working with reading intervention and content areas, and that's very exciting to have high school teachers really learn the strategies and the skills to apply all of these language arts skills in reading and speaking and listening and writing to high school students. So it's an integrated approach, which is really outstanding. So congratulations to all of you in making that happen. It's going to take a while to get all teachers on board, we know that, but you're off to a great start, and our students will benefit from it so much. There's no question about that. And then we had the opportunity with Liz Morrison. The work that's been done by the Professional Learning Action Team has developed a summer course guide of learning, which is several pages thick. This is unbelievable. It's not unbelievable, it's believable because it's happening, but at the same time, it's amazing where Parkway has come over the years, having had the experience in the past. And when I look at this course guide in terms of what we are offering our teachers and our administrators to continue to grow and develop without having to leave the district, which is incredible. This course guide is so comprehensive, it looks like a college course guide. But congratulations to all of you, and thank you very much. All of you have had some involvement in this because I know it's been a team effort led by Liz, and we appreciate that so much. Thank you. And I just wanted to say a little bit about last night, too. That was my first time to attend the awards, and it was fantastic. It was really a Parkway celebration in honor of our students. Student performers, as well as students who are being honored for academic excellence, and as Chris mentioned, to honor and recognize entrepreneurs who just graduated not too many years ago that are very, very successful in business and the careers that they've established for themselves. But it was fantastic. The families, so many Parkway teachers and administrators were there, and it was truly a great celebration. So thank all of you who had any involvement in that, and we appreciate it so much. Dr. Marty, and see Lisa, Chelsea, and everyone else that was there. Thank you very much.
All I can say is it's been a really fun month for me to be on the board in Parkway. Last week, I got to participate in a really terrific event called Fuel Up to Play 60. I think I see a poster from the event on the back wall there. This is a partnership we have with the American Dairy Council, which is trying to partner with us to help our children understand that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and it enhances their learning. And what goes with a good breakfast but a good glass of milk or a carton of milk. So they've established a program together with our nurses and our food department, help me, our Marlene's department, thank you, to have grab-and-go breakfast, grab-and-go healthy breakfast. So the kids come in, they have I don't know if you can see it, a red cart with a big red and white umbrella, and it just makes breakfast fun, and they get things like yogurt and healthy cereal and lots of different flavors of milk, and we all got to do a milk toast. And we had joining us Greg Zerline, the kicker for the Rams, and he was such a great sport. He just jumped right in, and he ran around and did exercises with two of the gym classes. He hit all 3 grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and he was a great sport. The Rams video team was here taking videos. Channel 5 was here interviewing him, and just a great time was had by all. I don't see Kathy Wallace here tonight, but I am sure that somebody will pass along to her my thanks for including me in that great event. It was terrific, and I think the kids were so excited. And now our kids will be really excited about breakfast. I understand this is going in all of our middle schools, and the more we do, the more grants they'll get to enhance the program. So thank you to Kathy and to everybody else that was involved with that. As Tom said, we went to Spark one day a couple of weeks ago, and it was a speed mentoring event. So many of you have heard of speed dating. This was speed mentoring, where our Spark entrepreneur students were able to talk to business professionals. They had about 15 minutes with each one. So Xantha Meyer had a gong that she hit, and they had a few minutes to dialogue with these business leaders who could either listen to their pitches or give them suggestions or point out things they may not have thought of. And the ones that I sat in on were really, really helpful to the students. The students ask great questions. The mentors have a different perspective that they bring to the students that, you know, teachers who may not have had that kind of experience just can't bring. So it's invaluable for us to have these business mentors come in and work with our students. I think everybody got a lot out of it, including the business mentors. And I was also really happy to see people from other districts and other schools join in the program that day. We had some students from Principia there, and we also had some administrators from Afton and Valley Park. And Pattonville. I missed them. Okay, so anyway, so kudos to our Spark team. Spirit of excellence, like they said. And also, within the last couple weeks, we've met with both our government relations and our religious leaders meetings. And these are also partners to the Parkway School District. Our government relations committee is made up of citizens, parents, and our legislators that represent the citizens of Parkway. And it's so helpful for them to hear from our perspective about things that we need in education, and from us to hear about them, what's going on in Jefferson City, or in some cases in the county or at the federal level. So we meet, I think government relations meets 4 or 5 times a year, and we all get a lot out of it. So I love that group. Some of the members of that group have been coming for 15 plus years. We also met on Tuesday, that's yesterday, I guess, with our religious leaders group, who really help us determine our religious calendar, our calendar of religious observances, which is so helpful to our teachers when they're doing their planning. But they also help us in so many ways, and we like to partner with them on things about character education. And it's a great go-to resource for all of us to have these people who are interested in our students and to help us. And in some ways, we can help them. We had a presentation about summer opportunities that they can take back to their congregations and spread that information. So it's a great privilege for me to be part of both of those groups. So it's been busy and it's been fun. Anybody else? Okay, upcoming subcommittee meetings, we don't have any because I think we just finished them. 10.05, board subcommittee reports. We had HR Finance Committee. Chris, is there anything that you wanted to mention about that? Anything in particular?
No, not at this time.
Okay, great. And then, Sam, you already mentioned about the TLA subcommittee meeting. Okay, now we're going to get to 11.0 action items. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in the March 11, 2015 board materials?
Request we pull something for discussion?
Yeah, of course, we need a motion.
What's that?
We need a motion.
Okay. So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, Tom, what do you want to pull?
Well, I just, in light of the citizen statements, I was wondering if Mike would be able to describe a little bit of the
So let's pull it and we'll vote on everything
Okay.
else. So that's which,
13 through 18.
and
11, 13 through 18.
Through 18?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to vote on everything except for 11.13, .14, .15, .16, .17, and .18. So we've had a motion, we've had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries 5-0. Now I'd like to call Mike Mertens. Oh, sorry, 6-0. I've been saying that all night. 6-0, thank you. Mike and Scott to come on down. Hello.
Good evening. I think I'm going to turn the podium over to Scott because he is really our district expert on contracts. He's the contracting officer in all of these, and I think he'll be able to answer all your questions.
Super, thank you, Mike.
Good evening.
Hi, Scott.
Hi. Oh, this is going to be a problem. I'll just hold it. So, what can I answer for you?
Some of the citizen statements about some of the contracts that were awarded. And I was just hoping that you could briefly, for everybody's benefit, just describe the bid process and what those contracts were awarded on, what the general basis was.
The contracts are let publicly. They're advertised in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch on 2 consecutive Sundays in accordance with state law. They're also posted on our website, and they are also posted with 4 different contracting electronic plan rooms. Contractors are free to look at the projects at the plan rooms or at our printers, and they can order sets there to take off and put their bids together. We have a mandatory pre-bid meeting, at which point, if the contractor wants to bid on the job, they must attend. We go over all the bidding requirements, so we afford them the opportunity to ask questions. The bids are then taken, publicly read, and we then look to see who the apparent low bidder is. We will then look at their qualification statement and financial statements that they're required to turn in with their bid. If I am unfamiliar with the contractor, we do not have any experience with them, I will then do reference checks on them. If I am experienced with them, if they worked with us in the last few years and we know what we're going to be getting with them, then we are our own best reference with regard to how they worked with us. If they've worked with us in the past, but they haven't worked with us for quite a long time, obviously there can be personnel turnover and changes in the company, and in that case I would do reference checks on them. But if it's been in the last few years, then I usually do not, unless I've heard something on the street that would concern me to do some checks on. I check the financial statements to make sure they look like they're financially stable, and then we bring it to you to present. Our contracts, by state law, the contractors are required to pay prevailing wage. We require all the contractors to turn in certified payrolls on their employees and all their subcontractors' employees that are in the field and governed under the prevailing wage statement. The prevailing wage statement is included in the bid package, so the contractors know that they must comply with those rates. We have made those rates available to the Carpenters Union under the Sunshine Law. They've asked for those in the past on Ranieri Construction, and we've happily presented those to them. I've received no complaints from the Department of Labor on any of those with regards to those requests. Ranieri's performed well for us in the past. They've probably done somewhere between 6 and 10 jobs for us in the last 4 or 5 years. So.
Voting on tonight?
2 of them.
2 of them, okay.
13 and 14, I believe.
Okay.
Highcroft Ridge and McKelvey.
So Scott, how would you characterize their work and their compliance for the work that
I
they
can only
did
speak
the last
to
couple-
our jobs.
The last couple of years, yeah. that
They've
they
met
did
our
for us.
schedules. They've performed to our expectations. I wouldn't have recommended them again if I had any problems with using them.
Any knowledge of them not paying prevailing wages?
Nothing I've received from Department of Labor, and nothing on our jobs. I don't know if there's something out there, but nothing's been presented to me that says definitively. I think I have a packet that was given to me several months ago. I don't know if it's the same information that's in the packets that were given to you, as I was not given a copy of that, but there are lawsuits in here. There are not judgments in here. So I don't know I think they said some things were pending, so I don't know whether how those are gonna play out. But certainly if they're found guilty of something, then that would factor in the future.
The kind of work that they did for us before, back in 12 and 13, was that similar to the kind of work that they have
Well,
been out
Highcroft
there?
is almost exactly the same. They did the Carmen Trails project in the last bond issue, and Highcroft is 95% the same project. McKelvey will actually be over 2 years, this summer and next summer. It's predominantly putting in a sprinkler system and we'll have our asbestos abatement contractor will not be a sub-consultant or subcontractor to Ranieri. They're hired directly to us. We'll be doing asbestos abatement in the building, and then Ranieri and their subcontractors would then be installing the sprinkler system and building back any systems that might get torn up in the abatement process.
Given what you heard tonight, some of the issues, is there anything in your mind that would, that you would want to look at it again, or you feel confident with what you've recommended to the board?
With the information I have currently, I'm fine. Again, if there's lawsuits pending and how those lawsuits would play out, that might change my mind down the road. However, I don't know when those are going to be settled, and I have to get these projects built, and we're up against it on the schedule.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
May I now have a motion to approve the items that we pulled to action? 11.13, 11.14, 11.15, 11.16, 11.17, and 11.18. Second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries 6-0. 12.0, action items. There are none tonight. Policy review, none. Reports. I'd like to call on Jason Rooks, Director of Technology and Innovation, who's going to talk to us about the Technology and Innovation Program evaluation.
Thank you, President Feldman, Vice President Jacob, members of the board, Dr. Marty, and Mrs. Stover. Welcome to the Parkway Technology Department Program Evaluation for 2015. Also like to thank the Parkway students, staff, parents, and Project Parkway participants, Technology Action Team members, Technology Facilitation Committee members, and Operations Action Team members, the Parkway Technology Department, all my friends in TLA, Desi Kirchhoffer, Dr. Keith Marty, Dr. Lisa Meredith, Dr. Nathan Tyson, and Patty Bradborough, all of who had contributed to this program evaluation and were a great support over the past year. I'd like to start off with just a quick overview of the Technology Department and Parkway's infrastructure. You are right there. Just kidding. This is actually a slide from the Department of Defense, from a Department of Defense presentation. But it does do a good job of illustrating the complexity of Parkway's technical environment. A quick review of our main topics that are that make up this program evaluation. We have mission, strategic plan, safety and security, stakeholder satisfaction, curriculum, innovation, data, and infrastructure. As part of the process, we established that this program evaluation will not focus on technology integration. Despite that, our survey feedback does include responses about technology integration. We have shared this feedback with our curricular partners, and we'll be looking at how to address the feedback and discuss this feedback and its importance. And technology integration will be part of the program. The technology integration will be part of the program evaluation for the individual curricular areas. So it won't be part of the technology program evaluation specifically. Our first main topic, mission and strategic plan. As we looked at mission strategic plan, we asked two essential questions. How does the technology department support the district's mission and strategic plan? We see ourselves aligned with goals 1, 3, and 6 as part of the district strategic plan. This alignment was developed through the ongoing implementation and support and maintenance of services and curricular tools used to accomplish these goals, like our support for online testing and the implementation of Google Apps for Education. Our next essential question, how are the technology department resources allocated and used? The technology department's annual operating budget is approximately $3 million. Nearly 80% of that is used to directly support students and staff through software maintenance, equipment refresh, and repairs. In addition, over half of our staff is responsible for directly supporting the work that is done in our schools. Our second main topic is safety and security. Around safety and security, we also had two essential questions. Our first essential question is, what technical measures does the technology department support to protect stakeholders? As you can see from this diagram, there are many layers of security and support to protect students, teachers, and Parkway data. All of these layers are enterprise-level devices and applications used throughout the world to support industry security needs. Our second question is, how is the technology department supporting the physical and emotional safety of our stakeholders? Based off of student and staff feedback, our ongoing and future projects align those topics and support those topics that support the physical and emotional safety of our stakeholders, including improved video and data security. Our third main topic, stakeholder satisfaction, we had three essential questions. The first essential question is, to what degree do you feel supported by the technology department? Overall, stakeholders feel supported by the technology department, with over 81% of respondents answering positively about the services we provide. Our challenge now is to identify the causes of the negative results and attempt to address those support deficiencies. Our second essential question is, what additional support could the technology department provide to Parkway stakeholders? Once again, it is good to see that stakeholder feedback is aligned with current and upcoming projects. These include improved Wi-Fi and network performance, as well as improved teacher training and feedback loops, which are all on the department's roadmap for the near future. Our third question, what additional information and with what frequency does the technology department need to communicate to Parkway stakeholders? Almost 90% of the staff surveyed feel the technology department provides timely communication. Once again, we are looking at our communication processes with the goal of improving our ability to gather, track, and respond to teacher feedback. Our fourth main topic, curriculum, we only had one essential question. How is the technology department providing direction for district-wide curricular initiatives? The technology department works closely with TLA to support district-wide curricular initiatives. In the past year, these have included adoption of electronic textbooks, implementation of district-wide online testing, and the development of a new elementary grade card, all of which have involved a close partnership between our curriculum and technology personnel and resources. Our fifth main topic, innovation, we had three essential questions related to this. The first essential question is, how is the technology department helping to find and find a balance between innovation and infrastructure stability. To support innovation, the technology department is working to implement more flexible infrastructure that can be more tolerant to quick and dynamic changes. To address our second essential question, how is the technology department providing leadership with regards to innovation and ever-changing needs, we are also an active participant on the innovation team, working with district stakeholder groups to identify innovative ideas and support them from pilot to implementation. Our fifth main topic, data. We asked, how is the technology department providing Parkway stakeholders the ability to gather, prepare, and deliver data? Our essential question, the data collection continues to be one of the department's core competencies. We have made a significant investment in our data warehouse and the team that supports it. Once again, we work closely with our friends in TLA and in the schools on the delivery of that data and to those that need it. Our seventh and final topic, have someone tap me when I need to click. We have two essential questions related to infrastructure. How is Parkway's technical infrastructure meeting our current needs? Parkway is built on a solid technical infrastructure that suffers many of the ills that many organizations its size experiences. Overall, staff are satisfied with the equipment they have been provided to use with students. We continue to identify points of failure and look for areas of improvement. Our second EQ, how can the technology department prepare to support the future infrastructure needs to the district? Based off of student feedback, we know we have to continue to address internet connectivity concerns as well as reevaluate and improve classroom technology tools. 500 gigabit of bandwidth is was a ways off. As part of this program evaluation, we also did a self-assessment. We did a SWOT analysis, looking at our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Parkway is fortunate to have a strong infrastructure, operational funding source, and an experienced technical staff as its strengths. We need to improve our growth mindset by embracing the challenges ahead of us through continued learning and improvement. We have opportunities to implement established best practices by implementing frameworks like ITIL. We also have a need to avoid stagnation as a threat. If we are not looking forward, then we're falling behind. Moving on to recommendations. There are many recommendations we have that came out of this program evaluation, and it revealed a number of areas of improvement. Moving forward, we need to continue to identify opportunities for alignment with the district's mission, improved support for safety and security, in addition to increasing stakeholder satisfaction. We need to continue to foster innovation needs. Fostering innovation needs to be systemic and not an afterthought. We need to continue to make data more accessible and useful to teachers while also expanding our infrastructure to meet current and our future needs. We also put together a balanced scorecard and broke this into four areas. The first area being customers, where we will focus on goals and key performance indicators around improved communication and delivery of services. Our second area is focused on internal processes. Here we will focus on the formalization and maturation of our technology metrics, services, and processes. Another area is innovation. We will continue to expand department staff training and development, as well as customer feedback loops in our financial investment into innovation. And lastly, financial. As part of our financial goals, we will continue to align the departmental budget planning around the district's mission, looking for areas to create greater efficiency and cost savings. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
So, well, I mean, one of a huge component is refresh, right?
Yes.
Device refresh. Do you see that as like maybe going down a little bit? Because, well, I mean, when you look at computers versus certain devices like the Chromebooks and tablets and that sort of thing, is the refresh rate as high with those devices as with like laptops?
So we're having a lot of great conversations around refresh right now, mainly because of the adoption of the new technology that we're looking at with tablets and Chromebooks. Now, our traditional refresh schedule has been 5 to 6 years, which I think most teachers would tell you is too long, and we're definitely hearing that. We soak every bit of educational value we can get out of a laptop. Now, Chromebooks and tablets are coming in at a fraction of the cost of the traditional laptop and desktop, but what's yet to play out is what is going to be the full life of that Chromebook or that tablet. As I said, with a laptop, we know we're going to get a strong, I'm going to say a strong 4 years, 5 years. We can eke out a 6th, maybe even a 7th year. We have teachers that refuse to let some of our original Windows laptops go because they still have some use for them in the classroom, even if it's not ideal. So we are having a lot of conversations about what is the impact that the new technology is going to have on our refresh structure, and how do we balance that reducing cost for the devices, but also looking at the opportunity of possibly reducing our refresh cycle. Can we move to a 3 to 4 year refresh cycle, improving the environment in the classroom for our teachers and students, and addressing those complaints we hear about long login times, short battery lives, more, increased malfunction that happens over time. So I don't have a perfect answer yet, but we are definitely spending a lot of time exploring that area with teachers, with administrators. I spoke with elementary administrators today about that specific topic because we have an elementary student refresh coming up, and we're looking at what is that new elementary model, and when would that refresh, if we went with all tablets and we went with all Chromebooks, what would that next refresh time be? Maybe it's not 6 years out, maybe it's 3 years out, and how does that balance with the reduction in costs?
Yeah, well, I'm sure the students would argue that 6 years is way too long for a laptop, but
yeah,
I mean, it seems like that with those other devices that they might be performing pretty well for actually longer. I mean, I guess it remains to be seen.
It does remain to be seen. I was at a state conference, not state conference, but a meeting at Massa earlier this week, meeting with other district superintendents and technology directors, and that topic came up. And it is still a big question mark. Some of the districts that have had Chromebooks for a long time are going into that 4th year right now, and are seeing the functionality is still there. But even the manufacturers will tell you, after that 3rd year, you are going to start seeing a significant drop-off, because in like the Chromebooks and the tablets, you can't replace batteries. You don't replace screens. You're buying whole new units when those types of things go out. Where on our current laptops, we are able to replace a battery. All our techs know how to swap out screens and motherboards and things like that have helped extend the life of those devices.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So there's a lot of factors there. We know there's a big change coming, and we're looking at what is that big change going to yield.
Gee, so my question, I have 2 questions actually. The first one is with the growth that you're projecting and all of the different things that we're hearing this evening, given your current staffing level with the number of personnel that you have and the number of users and buildings, how would you say that your staffing levels compare against industry standards?
It's really tough to calculate that because there isn't a real industry standard.
Okay.
DESE, a number of years ago, so the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, a couple years ago did publish a standard. And they were recommending 1 desktop support person for every 250 devices that they support. Now that's not specific to computers, those are devices. Mm-hmm. So that would include smart boards, projectors, document cameras, those types of things that we have in all our classrooms. Right now, and I pulled together a rough estimate as part of this program evaluation, we are anywhere between 13,000 to 26,000 devices. When you do look at those folks that we have in our department that directly support our schools, those people that are in the schools every day, spend a majority of their time touching the devices in the schools, right now we're sitting at about 1 tech to 500 devices. Now, I would love to cry, woe is me, because that's significantly higher than the 1 to 250, but a lot of other school districts in the St. Louis area are hovering around that same mark. So as we look at the conversations I'm having as I have these conversations with other tech directors in the area, we're all in about the same spot with regards to the number of devices we're supporting per district tech.
Okay.
It's not ideal. We would all love to have a lot more staffing, but we have a passionate staff. We have a staff that's devoted to the education industry, and they're doing their best to support our teachers and students and really value what they're doing.
And my second question is, have you monitored downtime with our online textbooks? And how is that going?
I'm happy to say I don't think it's a problem because I haven't heard about it.
Okay.
Usually if it's become an issue, I know about it. And I'd turn to Courtney and Jennifer Prophet. Are we hearing anything from the middle schools with regards to outages having a significant negative impact on electronic textbooks? Nope.
Okay, good.
No, and we do try to, I know people may think the opposite, but we do try to minimize our downtime. And that's one of the metrics that, as part of this program evaluation, I want to more closely monitor. And that's actually in that balanced scorecard slide. You know, we want to set that mean time to resolve an issue to 1 hour. So if there is, and that's a goal, I mean, we want to get to that, is if something goes down, a teacher knows within an hour, we're going to have it back up, and then they can continue on with their day.
Thank you.
Jason, would you speak to Goal 6, efficiencies? What are some of the things you're trying to do to be more efficient? For example, Munis. That was a big project that we put in here a few years ago, and are we really getting our money's worth for that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, and I'm trying to think of where I want to start with that. So Goal 6, we're doing a number of things. So I'm going to start with the general, and I'll circle back around to Munis. So one of the things we're doing is we're expanding the vendors that we typically work with and trying to create more competition between the vendors. So we're breaking some of our old vendor relationships that have probably gone on too long and renegotiating some contracts. We're also taking advantage of new software licensing. So one of the things we were able to do this year was to reduce the cost of our antivirus protection, which goes on all district computers, by half. So we were able to cut that cost in half, and it was a significant cost. We're also looking at putting together metrics to measure what kind of usage are we really getting out of the applications we pay for. It'd be easy for me just to submit the budget every year saying this is the annual maintenance we pay. We're going to keep sustaining this. We're going to keep sustaining this. What we're doing is we're measuring student and teacher usage. Where's it at? Is it increasing or is it declining? And we're looking at that data to decide, are we still getting our bang for our buck when it comes to these applications? We are in the process of retiring one of our applications, our Moodle environment, which we pay a significant amount for because we've seen continued declining usage to a small handful of people. At the same time, we've also seen a proliferation of free online tools that have a lot more functionality. And we're trying to support our hardcore teacher Moodle users and students to transition to new products, and at the same time we're going to hopefully be able to cut that maintenance cost. With Munis, we kind of went through that same process where we sat down with our finance department and our HR department and looked at what components of Munis are we using, which components are we not using, what components are we happy with, what components might we be able to find cheaper alternatives to, and kind of went through and reviewed all of those and came up with that mix that we think we're going to get the most out of across the district. Right now we're using Munis for all of our back-end HR functions as well as all our finance functions. Also, we have our employee self-service through Munis as well, which allows staff members to go in and look at their pay stubs, set their benefits, and things like that. All right.
Jason, can you give us an update on Google Apps for Education, how the rollout's been, what you have planned for the summer?
See, right now is usually where I just hand Bill Bass. Over to him. Google Apps.
I did see him walk in. There he is.
Bill, just yell if I say something wrong. No, Google Apps for Education is continuing to grow. It's exploding in its adoption. I think the students are extremely happy with it. Our staff seems to be very happy with it. We've hosted 2 Google events for other districts and have really kind of become Google's what they call lighthouse district in the St. Louis area. We're working with Google to put together a case study around Parkway. What were our last usage statistics? I just pulled those together for you.
So our last usage statistics, we had 500,000 documents created, unique documents created in our domain. So across all users in our domain, we have over 500,000, but that doesn't include anything that's been uploaded. Those are unique Google-type documents that exist on our server right now.
And one stat that because Bill and I were looking at this earlier in the week, one of the stats we looked at trying to identify usage was we had 11,000 users who had something in their Google Drive. We don't know what it was, we weren't seeing that, but they had at least one thing in their Google Drive. And so as we looked at staff and students, in our first, we're not even through the first full year, we already have 11,000 people who have gone out, Parkway users who have gone out and dropped something in that Google Drive of theirs. And so I think we're very happy with that. Earlier this week, I did a Google Forms class with our operations action team, which was really exciting to watch our operations side, the managers on our operations side, kind of start taking off with Google and get really excited, get googly, as Bill would like to say.
Students graduate, do you take their drive down to free up space?
So well, that's the nice thing about Google. We don't have to worry about space.
But,
So what we're going to do, the current plan, and my team's actually meeting later this month to finalize our planning, because this will be our first year turning students over. Right now, the plan is to allow graduating seniors to maintain their account for 1 year after their graduation. Now, we're going to pare down what they can and can't do. So they're not going to be able to send email within the district anymore. Really, all they're going to be able to do is access that archive of Google work that they've put together during their Parkway career. And obviously, that'll become more significant as we have more graduating classes use Google.
So will those students be able to transfer that stuff from their Parkway Drive to a personal Google Drive?
Oh, yes. Yeah, Google has a number of tools available that make that a pretty seamless project. They can pretty much download everything that they've got from their current from their Parkway Google account and upload it into their personal Google.
Wherever.
Yep.
Okay, because you're looking at three people here who are graduating seniors, so
yeah.
It would be a shame for the kids to lose all that work. Now, I assume somebody will tell them that?
Yeah,
Tell them
we'll
that
work
they have
on the
that
communications
capability?
around that. Yeah. And the technology department is really, because this is something we've heard from our schools for a number of years. Teachers and schools want the students to build up that archive of exemplars from their entire Parkway career. And we're finally going to be able to let them do that through the Google environment and not have to worry about space restrictions and hard drives and losing documents and things like that. It's all going to be in one place, and they can curate it and cultivate it however they'd like.
And Bill, the collaboration that the students are doing now, is this a whole new opportunity for them with Google Docs?
Yeah, the collaboration there, as far as I'm concerned, and I know this will be surprising, but there's not a better tool out there for collaboration right now. Everything, the fact that you can collaborate in real time gives far different opportunities for kids and truly for adults to create and make meaning of the curriculum in a variety of ways that really weren't possible in that way before. So yeah, it's, as we've talked many times, I mean, it's changing the way that we're doing work in Parkway in our classrooms.
Awesome, thank you.
Does that interact with our smart boards? Google?
Yeah. I mean, a teacher can, I'm trying to think of so yes, short answer.
So the way that, ultimately a smartboard is a big mouse. And so because it's a big mouse, we can use it for, to highlight and to manipulate information on the smartboard through Google, as well as, do presentations and things like that as directly on a smartboard, just like we would with any other tool.
We kind of installed the smart boards as a technology that needed to be there. We didn't really know what they were going to do with it. Is that being adequately used today? Or, for a while there were some teachers that didn't use it or weren't trained. Have we passed that and now everybody's got religion and loves their...
So I'll speak to from what I hear, if there's a smart board down in the district, usually I hear about it really quickly. And what we've been doing is trying to kind of do that supply chain management and making sure that we can get and Bob Cranston's team, for the most part, handles this, is get that board back up and running as quickly as possible. And I know I could think of one project specifically CJ worked on that was just a booger of a smart board that we were working hand in hand with the teacher around the clock trying to get the smart board functioning for her. So I definitely think we're seeing increased usage. Smart Notebook continues to be something that the software that goes with the smart board that I know teachers are really excited about and continue to use. And I got an email from a teacher not long ago asking me, when are we going to go to this latest version of the Smart Notebook? And we've got to take a look at that now too.
Refresh on that, is that something that lasts for a long time, or?
The smart boards are proving to have quite a life. So I don't want to say, being the technology guy, I don't want to say we're going to refresh them with smart boards, because when we go to refresh them, we'll be looking at whatever's new and great the next time. As part of a potential future bond issue, we will be looking at another, what we would call a classroom enhancement budget line item for that future bond issue, which would hopefully address whatever that next iteration of smart board is.
Thank you.
What about our Bring Your Own Device program? Are we do we have any students who are being left out of opportunities because they don't have a device to bring?
That is a tough question to answer. So in general, our BYOD project continues to grow. So weekly statistics are showing that we have about twice as many Bring Your Own devices connecting to our wireless network than we have Parkway-owned devices connecting to our wireless network, which is a great sign and is also a nightmare for most of my folks as we look at network congestion and all the things we have coming into and out of the district. We are working on a number of equity projects with a couple of different schools. So I know with McKelvey, we're working on a project with Kim Cohen there to look at how we can provide devices to students without. We're also partnering with a teacher at Northeast Middle to look at the same project. So at this time, I would say we don't have a district-wide solution to address students without, but it's something we're continuing to work on and look at.
I would just like to say that when Jason presented, kind of rehearsed with the Superintendent's Action Team, we knew there was going to be a lot of questions. So one of our thoughts is that this might be a topic for our end of the year, our summer workshop, board retreat, where Jason comes in, where you may have more questions, because there's a lot going on in technology, and if you've read the report, which I'm sure you did, you could delve into a lot of areas. There's a lot of things, obviously, that they're on top of and would like to talk more about, probably beyond the time we have tonight. But
I was going to say, yeah. What he's not telling you, the gasp you heard behind me when I finished was that the rehearsal took 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I did that in about 10. So.
And he was hurrying on the 40, but so he did a nice job cutting back. But there's a lot more to talk about.
That's how we like it. All right. Well, thank you both.
Thank you.
You know, when you think about Jason and his department, there's probably no other department or group of people that everybody, you think from students, staff, even our community relies on. And so when things are going good, great, right? You know, Jason is positive, everybody likes him, and then when things are, his name is used in vain.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's any other department, any other part of our system that really has that kind of really immense impact on what we're doing now. We've come to that point. And I would like to say that, a couple meetings ago, we heard the math program evaluation, and I think they were very honest, pretty critical. I think Jason did a good job, and he did that self-analysis. I know, honestly, sometimes he's pretty critical of his own work, because they really are trying to satisfy their many, many customers, and I know they're really into this mode of trying to speed things up, do things, but man, there's a lot of things to do and a lot of issues.
Desi once told me, we've got a lot of problems, but they're good problems to have. Yeah. And we're very fortunate to be here in Parkway, and I'm very fortunate to have the support structure I have behind me, and the department that we have. We have a very talented technology department that works very hard. And I don't want to pass up the opportunity to thank Tom Swoboda before he leaves us for all the foundation that he's laid for the district. And you know, I mean, most of this program evaluation, he probably could have recited too, because he's been there with us on the journey. So I want to thank him for all his work.
That's a good note for closure. Thank you. And now we'd like to call on Patty Bedborough, who's going to give us talk on her Goal 6, finance and resource allocation. Busy day, Patty. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about Goal 6. I'm going to start with kind of a history of Goal 6 and some of the major accomplishments that have gone down in history with Goal 6. Then I'm going to talk about the accomplishments from this year, and then I'm going to also talk about what we're working on for next year. So Goal 6 never ends. It's a continuing process in progress. So, did I just jump a whole bunch here? Not quite sure how I did that. So first, with looking back, some of our measurable objectives for 1 and 2, prior progress have been the school day schedule, so certainly helping with the tiers and the busing and having more consistency in our start and end times. Our full day kindergarten for all. Our north attendance, our area adjustments to help with the evening of the enrollment in the schools. Of course, the large budget reduction process where we cut more than $14 million out of our expenses. Food service program reorganization, where we decreased one of the production centers and made the whole process in the food production more efficient. Of course, ongoing energy efficiencies. And then other efficiencies, including expanding online instruction opportunities and the creation of the Parkway Rockwood Community Education Partnership. In 2012, we had a AAA bond rating that was reaffirmed by Standard & Poor's. That went along with the issuance of our bonds from 2008. Parkway also received a clean audit or unqualified opinion for the external audit for 12-13, and also received their 12th consecutive CAFR report. For measurable objective number 4, for capital planning and improvements, the 2008 bond issue projects were completed in the fall of 2013. Then they moved forward with Facilities 2020, expanded the participation in 13-14. The preliminary bond issue list was completed, and the recommendation went to the board for the Board of Education, asked voters for bonds to be issued in our November general election. So now moving forward to what's happened this year and forward. So when we look at measurable objectives 1 and 2, just recently we saved over $3.5 million in interest when we refunded the 2009 bond issuance. Of course, that's all in debt service funds, so that actually helped to structure our debt schedule for the future years. We completed the CWA negotiations, which the board recently approved earlier in this board meeting, with a 3-year salary agreement. We have a progressive discipline policy in there and coverage for absences. We added 2 floater custodial positions to reduce overtime and to add coverage for absences. Maintenance and facilities reduced the emergency work orders from 4.2% to 1.5%. Grounds crew, they had a 10-day mowing schedule, and it was reduced to a 7-day mowing schedule. So of course you have then not as high of grass and less overtime. Streamline the required online safety training. And then we have the Parkway Rockwood Community Education Partnership. At 9 elementary schools, we opened up the before and after care. We merged the community education programming, and we have summer programming enhancements that'll start this year. We developed and launched the procurement procedures when using charter buses and travel agencies for students and special trips. We conducted over 304 bids through our purchasing department with a spend of over $10 million and a realized savings of 15% based on the competitive bidding process. We have retro commissioning project at Southwest Middle School, so that was putting some energy saving devices onto our HVAC system there. We just recently were approved for a low interest loan for our LED lighting project that will add LED lighting to all of our parking lots. We were a recipient of a $10,000 recycling grant to add recycling containers onto our athletic fields. We have started installing CO2 sensors and control strategies for several large spaces, mostly the gyms, and this has an annual savings of estimated of $7,000. Our contract is completed with the Kelly Sports Marketing to enhance our revenues. We have a full year of fuel savings from the CNG buses, compiled with a 30% savings on the CNG fuel based on, as compared to market prices for the fuel from last year too. We also have installed some Workforce, which is our online timekeeping system. We have some enhanced payroll processing upgrades in the transportation department to improve the staff efficiency and accuracy of payroll. They have the 5-hour minimum paid or guaranteed time for their employees. So when they're on a 3-tier or a 2-tier and they come in and it's a little bit less than 5 hours, the system work-through will put an automatic 5 hours in there, so it won't take that manual override any longer. We have 3-tier route utilization for our busing of 94.8% district-wide. Food services, we finished the 13-14 school year with a positive balance of $18,000 for the year. First time in several years that the food service program finished with a positive fund balance. The food service inventory software was implemented this year, so it has enhanced tracking mechanisms for the inventory and the cost of the inventory. And we also added the online free and reduced application process, which has saved time and efficiency. We also have installed at several of the schools ventless ovens for the elementary and middle schools. This enables some of the vegetables to actually be produced closer to the serving times, and it reduces the extra trips, or what they refer to as the hot shots, that are in the additional runs to the buildings. And of course, as President Feldman mentioned earlier, we had the grant awarded for the Midwest Dairy Council and supported by Fuel Up to place 60 for 4 mobile serving carts. We increased the special school district contribution for early childhood facility use by $55,000. We were able to subsidize and account for some of our custodial staff along with that application with SSD. And Brian Woodall also worked with SSD and Will Rosa to improve the billing process for our transportation that we charge back to SSD. And we found actually an additional $100,000 in savings through doing that. We lowered our Affordable Care Act transitional reassurance fee by $60,000 by using an alternate member count. So there are several different ways that you can calculate the average member. And Brian used several different mechanisms, and we found one that actually saved us $60,000. We increased the EFT vendors, so electronic fund transfer vendors, and this is through our purchase card program. So by this time next year, that should increase our purchase card rebate. Currently, we receive about $10,000 annually. We publish our financial statements in a newspaper called The Countian, so it still serves as the delivery mechanism that is supported by state statutes, but advertising in the Countian versus the St. Louis Post-Dispatch saved us over $6,000 in advertising. We increased our accounts receivable internal controls. We stopped reopening and recounting deposits. We realigned the work duties also with the accounts receivable and the accounts payable staff. They've been going through a process of cleaning up some old outstanding checks to be in compliance with the state statutes and making our bank reconciliations much more efficient. We've also realigned the duties of the benefits staff. So a new focus on benefits and the benefits committee. So the benefits committee traditionally was essentially a committee that approved the recommendations from administration for the changes in benefits. Now we've made it more of a year-round process where we actually have quarterly meetings, and they're up to date then on our benefits, on our fund balances, our claims, et cetera. We're also providing education and customer service with the benefits staff. We're cross-training both on our person that does active benefits and on retiree programs so that either one of them can answer the questions. We have improved speed on answering calls and emails, and we have allowed the combination of married couples in the health plan so that they can share the deductible. So when both employees, both spouses work for the district and they want to be on either the high deductible plan or the base plan, they can then share one maximum out of pocket as a family. We also have improved methods for reconciliation of our benefit billing. Did you want to speak on staffing? Okay. And then we also have our staffing. We are utilizing our model for both the middle school and high school, and our ratios also for elementary. Amy's meeting personally with each of the principals and going through their staffing and putting out openings only when they are needed. And even in class size, it's not until the children actually show up at the beginning of the year that new sections are added. So measurable objective number 3, so fiscal accountability and transparency. Once again, we received an unqualified audit for the 13-14 fiscal year. We have submitted the CAFR, or the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. We have not received the actual award yet, but we're pretty sure we're going to receive our 13th in a row. Of course, measurable objective number 4 with capital improvements and planning, we have, of course, the passage of the bond issue. Today, we successfully sold the bonds with a very low interest rate, 3.34%. We have several of the 2015 bond projects that were actually approved tonight, too. North High, the architect is selected and has began the work on the different phases. So we're well on our way. So now what's next? So we are starting with the PC Power Management Program. So both combination of Jason and Eric Luters are working on a power control for all of our personal computers around the district, that they would shut them off at the end of the night and then turn them back on automatically in the morning. We're looking at managed print services, which in this school here at Central Middle, we'll be looking at installing at least a pilot project, and we're going to be looking at the efficiency and utilization of printing throughout the district. Asset tracking software, that was also one of the items that was approved this evening. That'll not only track our digital assets as far as our computers, et cetera, it'll also start with the tracking of our textbooks and our textbook supplies. Full implementation of the Parkway Rockwood Community Education Partnership. Beginning next year, we'll have our additional 9 sites for our before and after school added. Continued support of our district wellness activities. We met last week to look at possibilities of new incentives or changing our current incentive in order to gain additional participation from our employees. Ongoing enhancements to district technology infrastructure and instructional support. Certainly one of the items that you approved tonight too was one of the bond issue projects with the new switches through HP. We have the implementation of the proposed intellectual property management and sports marketing program. So yes, we completed the contract, and now we're into the implementation of the program. I know Dr. Marty has some meetings set up along with Colin C. and Mike Roth with some investors. We have the scoreboards are actually out for a bid now. The bids are due in March 23rd, so we hope to have a recommendation to you possibly at the April 1st board meeting. Transportation, we're looking at mapping software through Versatrans, and that's software to help improve the accuracy of our routing and our timing. We don't believe that necessarily we'd be able to reduce routes, but we may be able to, we may be able to reduce a tier, so not necessarily complete routes. Further to that point, we have investigated the possibility of asking parents whether or not they'd want transportation services or not. That gives us the ability to actually have a better count of the students that will be using our services, and that one would possibly reduce the number of tiers that we have. SSD also wants us to look at additional efficiencies and reduce some of the numbers of routes. So along the borders, of our district and other districts, there may be some routes that they would actually share with us instead of us picking up all the children. Financial support and recommendations from early childhood, experiential learning, alternative high school and extended year studies, and the overall Project Parkway goals. Of course, we are still in the not at the completion of the lease terms with the Early Childhood Center, but we are very close. And certainly anything with Goal 6 that we can help with on the TLA side, we're more than happy to support. Continued effort to restore fund balances through ongoing staff efficiency and effectiveness. And also want to add that through the PNEA Communication Lab, one of the action points that came from that was to create a Goal 6 action team. So certainly we will have a continued focus on time, staff, and facilities to ensure that are allocated responsibly and flexible. So, any questions?
Jeez.
About the PC power management program and explain that a little bit more.
So it is a, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong on this. It is a program that essentially will automatically turn off a computer that is left on at the end of use, and you would kind of set a timeline, so maybe it's 7 p.m., and then it would also turn on that device, let's say at 6 a.m., so that it actually goes through its startup process before you get to the PC, so you don't have to wait the 5 minutes for the computer to boot up. Did I do that well?
You did fine.
Okay.
They want to give you another 20 minutes, I'll be happy to go in.
So these would just be things that students would be using. So if staff were here late at night or come in early, they're going to still be able to get to their...
Yes, so it would give you a message before it would turn
Okay.
it off. So if you happen to be a staff member that's at a desktop unit
Right.
or with your computer on the dock, then it would give you a message before it would just automatically turn off. And you could override and say, yeah, no, don't turn me off right now.
So part of the implementation process is establishing profiles based off of what the computer is used for. So we would identify student computers that should only be used between, and those can be extreme, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. And outside of those hours, 8 p.m. it's going to shut down. At 5 a.m. it's going to start back up. Staff computers would have a completely different profile. And like Patty said, the user at the computer will always have the ability to override that shutdown, or even override that startup if they want to shut it right down again. And then we'd have weekend profiles, things like that. And on top of just the control, it'll also give us the reporting to see where are our computers generating the most energy? I mean, where are they consuming the most energy? And how do we manage that? Maybe we need to manage that environment slightly different than this other environment, because 32 buildings is a very diverse district with very diverse needs. So.
And I think the average cost for a PC just to stay on overnight is about $100 a year.
I don't know. I'll trust you on that one.
Okay.
It's a program called Energy Education, and Eric manages that, Eric Leaders. So I'm sure if Eric could give us some information about that kind of cost. Shutting down computers, well, you wouldn't imagine, what that would save. It might be $100, something close to it a year. So if we could do that, that would just be a significant efficiency.
A quick mention about CO2 monitoring with automated controls. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, Eric is not here tonight, and he's the one that actually implemented it, but these are additional controls that actually are in the heating cooling system. And so they'd be, let's say, in this room, they would pick up when there's CO2, and then that would mean that there's more people in this room, so it would actually bring then the heating and cooling and turn it on. And then when it doesn't detect the CO2, then it knows that it doesn't have to cool this or heat it to certain levels. So it knows that it's a vacant space, essentially.
I want that at home.
I like to say that the writers, the four fathers and mothers of Project Parkway, the more I think about Goal 6 was a wonderful addition. I don't think people really knew what they were doing when they wrote it because they didn't know how broad it is, but I think through work that we've done and now some new sets of eyes, I mean, there's a lot of potential in savings if you really think about it and really are serious about it. And we're kind of excited to even go deeper with some new efforts in the Goal 6 action team.
Thank you very, very, very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a great evening.
Work session, there is none tonight. Call for a special meeting, there is none. The next scheduled closed session. The next anticipated closed session will be held on April 1st, 2015 at 6 p.m. at Central Middle School. Details of the closed session will be posted within 24 hours of the anticipated meeting. 18.0 recess, 19.0 closed session, 20.0 may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. At this time, we will adjourn back to closed session. Thank you very much for your attendance.